says you're being recorded, so just say okay. And let me see if I can't get things running here with your PowerPoints. Warren, take it away.
Perfect. Yeah. Thanks, Doug. Hi, everybody. I know some old friends from over the years. Good to see you guys. And hello to some of the new folks. Doug, you know, it's funny. My laptop computer finally came on again. I don't know if there's any value in me. Can you guys all hear me and see the PowerPoint okay? I might as well just stay on my cell phone, I guess.
I can hear you just fine. Let me know when you want me to advance. Just tell me and I will.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. So a lot of you guys know me. I'm going to describe very quickly on the second slide to people who I don't know a little bit about my background quickly, and maybe update a few things on people that do know me. I've been helping inventors since 1997. I used to have a collection of stores in Lower Connecticut, in Darien and Greenwich and Wilton, Connecticut, called the Complete Kitchen. They were sort of high-end Williams-Sonoma type housewares specialty stores. I owned a food store called the Good Food Store in Darien, where we did fresh food, produced fresh food, one of the early stores, and we're very involved in catering, had a great kitchen. And I also had a kitchen design business and a cooking school. So that was kind of my background. Prior to that, I was a department store buyer in New York City. And then I'll tell you how I got into what I'm doing today. But tonight's discussion, you probably have heard me speak before, some of you at IACT, on licensing and taking products to market. Specifically, I've run the open innovation programs for Lifetime Brands, the largest non-electrics housewares company in the world. I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through it. I also did it for many years for Tektronix Industries, TTI Group, that's a power tool company that manufactures Ryobi and rigid power tools in Milwaukee. And I did it for many years for Merchant Media, a direct response television company, which is similar but smaller than All Star Marketing, but in the same arena. What I'm going to talk about tonight is Market Blast, because it's my latest venture and probably my last run in this arena. Market Blast is an attempt to a very serious attempt to connect innovators with companies. And why would an independent innovator want to connect with a company? Well, it may involve licensing, it may involve distribution of products, it might involve sales of the patent or the intellectual property, and otherwise connect in a variety of ways. It's a pretty heroic venture because nobody's really been able to tap this or do this properly. So we know we have our work cut out before us. We started it last year. But basically, I'll run you through the program. Doug, can you go to the second slide? Because I'll just continue to get me out of the way, and then we'll get to Market Blast. So just really quickly, so I still run the Open Innovation Program at Lifetime Brands. I was just there today in Garden City, New York. I live in New Canaan, so I go down there once or twice a month. I've been doing this since 2009, so for quite a while, 2008 actually. I have looked at many thousands of products for Lifetime Brands, even many thousand a year. I've licensed almost 150 products with them. They've generated over $1 billion in sales for them, so it's been highly successful. They've kept me around, and they still talk to me when I come there, which is great. And I've learned a great deal about open innovation from these efforts. Open innovation being the art of companies really reaching outside their walls for new products and new innovation, and then taking them out under their own brands in a variety of ways. But just really quickly too, I've been a longtime fan and participant with IACT. It was the first Inventor Club meeting I ever went to back in like 2005, I think, or something. Mary Elroy was before Doug, and congratulations, Doug, on 10 years. It's amazing. Great club, one of the great inventor clubs in the country. I then, after time with IACT and being involved there, I actually got on the board of the United Inventors Association, which is a national nonprofit that that was, I don't know if it still is, but we were the largest nonprofit inventor education organization, 501c3 in the country. And I've had the pleasure of being involved in speaking at probably 40 plus clubs around the country, from New England to California to the Midwest to Florida and all over. And I love inventor clubs, and they're really the backbone of the inventor community in many, many ways. I leveraged, I shouldn't say leverage, that's a bad word, it sounds so aggressive. I was with the United Inventor Association. I was the president for 12 years. During that time, I got very involved with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, which is where the organization was founded. I now serve on the Pro Bono Advisory Council, which is for folks that are at or near the poverty line can apply for free patent work. If you go on uspto.gov and put in pro bono patents, you'll learn all about the program. It's a high profile program now. It's really one of the #1 initiatives for Kathy Vidal, who's the director of the patent office. I've been down to the patent office 6 times since February, go down almost monthly to meet and do things there. So it's a big volunteer effort. I'm also on the United States Intellectual Property Alliance Board, which is the largest group of intellectual property influencers in the country, both attorneys and practitioners. Scott Frank, the head of intellectual property for AT&T, is the chair and the founder of it. I co-chair the creator committee. And if you want to make a note, and you can check online on October 20th, it's a Friday, October 20th, I'll be leading a panel called the PTAB, Patent Trial and Appeal Board, PTAB versus Federal Court, with Adam Mossoff as a professor, PhD professor of intellectual property law at George Mason University, and Rob Stern is one of the biggest patent law firms in the country out of DC, who's the biggest patent trial and appeal board practitioner. I will tell you that this is a U.S. inventor sponsored event, but it's also a U.S. IPA event. I'm not a big fan of the PTAB, but we can talk about that another time. If you have questions, we can get there. And then last but not least, I serve on the Council for Inclusive Innovation, which is a Chamber of Commerce group that with 26 board members, half are CEOs, including the chairs of General Motors and Intel and 3M and so forth. And I represent the inventor community. So I do a lot of charitable work. I wrote a book called Inventor Confidential, which came out 2 years ago. Thanks, Doug, for mentioning it before. It's a pretty easy read, but the first half of the book is a guide to, from the inside, how to develop products properly and how to get in front of companies properly, as opposed to a lot of marketers. I am not a big fan of marketers, folks, so don't get me going there. Most of them are trying to just take money. But I tell the things that I believe in and have had success with. And then equally important, the second half of the book is a lot of the other national challenges that are going on today in innovation, from big tech companies and their unusual influence on our patent system today, and other things that we need to be aware of as a country if we want to be the most innovative country on the planet in the years ahead. So, and by the way, I will add a plug for Mark. I originally met Mark through SBIR. I don't talk about it too much in the book, but SBIR is an amazing platform, and I'm sure you could learn a great deal more from him on that if you guys are interested. They do a lot of granting of funds to worthy projects, not an easy process to go through. So anyway, that's my quick background. Doug, can you go to the next slide, and I'll start to get into Market Blast. Thank you. So I've done a lot of things. I brought a lot of products to market, and especially in the housewares area. I have perpetually been thinking of a platform that would be larger and take what I've learned on the ground and spread it out to companies around the country. So Market Blast is the result of that. It's marketblast.com. You can go on the site. We are actually upgrading some things this week, so you can go on it tonight and check it, but you can also check later in the week or next week, and you're going to see a couple of changes. Basically, we are more of a company-based platform, and what I mean by that is our primary effort is to get companies to come on board to the site and open up to taking products from the outside, and that makes us pretty unusual. Nobody else is in that space. I'll describe the details in a moment. We also have a close relationship to inventors since I work with them and have been involved in many inventor pursuits. But we call the companies basically our receivers of goods, and the individual inventors are submitters. So we are what I call, and if anybody's read Blue Ocean Strategy, another subject close to my heart, we are sort of a blue ocean pursuit of this arena. So Doug, I'm sorry, can you go on to the next one? Next slide. Thank you.
Yeah, I could, but I just wanted you to say a few words. What does this blue ocean mean?
Okay, good question. And please feel free to interrupt me because I'm usually just start rambling on and I need to be interrupted. So thank you. So Blue Ocean Strategy is one of the best-selling business books in the history of the world, written by Chan Kim and Renee Moborn. Chan and Renee are professors at INSEAD, INSEAD, INSEAD in Fontainebleau, France, about 30 kilometers south of Paris. Many people in America are not familiar with INSEAD, but by any standard, it's either ranked third, fourth, or fifth best business school in the world after Harvard is usually number one and Wharton is usually number two. It's an international business school. And these folks wrote the book Blue Ocean Strategy, I think in 2005, which basically the premise is, and they consult a lot of big companies. The premise is most companies fight over market share for sales and market share, and they refer to those as red oceans because they're always fighting and spilling blood. That you should consider sailing off into your own blue ocean where there's nobody else there, and set up your own, follow your own innovative premise. They give many examples. It's the book. I don't know how many tens of millions have sold, but one of the great examples they give is Cirque du Soleil, that they were originally in the circus business out of Montreal, and the circus industry was dying, and they were fighting over a smaller share of it. And then they developed their acrobatic and otherwise unbelievable stage presentations that are out in Vegas and elsewhere in Montreal, and totally rebirthed the company on a new blue ocean strategy, and have been very successful. So I happen to know Chan. I happen to know the dean of INSEAD quite well. He's now left there, and spent a lot of time with them on projects and things. And so Chan actually wrote a nice endorsement for my book. So I refer to Blue Ocean a lot. They have now written several subsequent books, of which their latest book is the concept of being able to innovate without necessarily disrupting an entire industry. One of the things that bothered them was people were going out and doing these new things, and there would be incidental destruction of old businesses. For instance, like Uber destroying the taxi cab business, and the necessity of everyone thinking disruption is what it's all about. Their new book is quite interesting and fascinating, that you can start new businesses and you can do new blue ocean strategies without destroying other industries. So really cool people, and I do throw around blue ocean a lot. So thanks, Doug, for asking that. I appreciate the opportunity to fill folks in, and then you can go and Google them for more information. So how does all this apply? So I talked a little bit about open innovation, a few minutes ago, and it's really the art or science of companies reaching outside their four walls. And open innovation is a term developed by a business school at the Haas School of Business at Berkeley, California, professor that coined this term about 30 years ago, that companies who traditionally only developed and invented things from inside the company were in many ways better off if they started looking outside the companies for new ideas and new products. And the seminal example of that, and someone who got on board really early and wrote a terrific book about it, was Procter and Gamble. A.G. Lafley was the chairman. In the 1960s, Procter and Gamble was well known for all of its products, but if you remember, for all of us who were alive back then, everything had a secret formula, Tide secret, this, that, and that. Everything was in-house developed, and he in the 70s or late 70s went out and started taking outside submissions. And today, over half of Procter & Gamble's new products come from outside submissions. So that was the concept and idea, and open innovation really has taken hold since then in many ways. Now, I will say that not as many companies practice it for a variety of reasons as I would like, and that's part of what our platform is all about, is to go back out and recanvas and rekindle the desire for companies to take outside submissions. But one of the reasons they don't take outside submissions is because the complexity of it, the way it opens them up to potential liability issues, and otherwise can drive people at the company crazy. So that's why we are here with Marketplace as a platform that's supposed to help them make open innovation easy. So Doug, if we go to the next slide, that'd be awesome.
Sure. And some people have joined us, and just for their information, Warren, is it okay if people unmute and ask questions while you present?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I come from a big family. Fire away. I'm good. I love that. So, oh yeah, I put this slide in. Why did I put this slide in? I put this in because I thought I would give you a couple of fun open innovation tips that I've learned. So I've been running open innovation platforms now for over 16 years. And there are a lot of marketers in the inventor industry, okay? And if I haven't made it clear yet, most of them completely piss me off. Because a lot of them charge a lot of money for not a lot of value, and they never reveal their success rates and how much they actually helped you that you couldn't do on your own and so forth. And part of the reason for that is a lot of them are, some of them may be inventors, but a lot of them are folks who, are pretty good with the social media marketing, and they charge a lot of money, for these platforms. I know one is like $4,000 for 6 months of coaching, and then you get a coach assigned to you that has never accomplished really anything in their lives. And I get annoyed at that as a professional, because probably, Doug, the same way you do as a PhD, in engineering, hearing someone at a bar talking about, how to build something. It just, they just do it wrong most of the time. So I thought I would just, having done this on the inside of companies for many years, just throw out a few things for people. And I start with this concept that bring us your ideas and submit your ideas, and is really a fallacy. No one is interested in ideas. Okay, now let me qualify that and say, sometimes in the DRTV space and sometimes in the toy industry, you probably have a little bit more latitude. But other than those two industries, I've never found not a single other one that doesn't want products that are well thought out and developed. Okay, developed. I'll describe what that means. So sharing an idea without anything behind it, sending in a sketch or whatever, it's not doing you any good, and it's not really doing the company any good. So what you do need to do is you need to develop it, which means you need to pursue the prototypes, making sure it functions. I've been through this tens of thousands of times now, so I've gotten pretty good at it. When someone just sends me in an idea or sketch, and I ask them for a prototype and they don't have it, everything sort of falls apart. So I write about this extensively in Inventor Confidential. If you want to read more about it, I won't go more into detail. But from your product development and is where your intellectual property comes from, and determining what's best for you, particularly in utility protection. And you can develop that and see what's unique and protect it. And why does that matter? Well, yes, there's the defense of patents and all that's involved today, so I won't go down that path. But companies like Lifetime Brands who are licensing want to have some sort of collateral that they can license, and some sort of thing that makes the product more valuable, so that it makes it worthy of paying royalties too. Because if they come out with an idea and develop it and then sell it, and it doesn't have patent protection, and other people rip it off, and they're paying you a 5% royalty, then they've now priced themselves out of the marketplace where other people will swoop in. So the strong patent protection, is important. Now, we can argue about the strength of patent protection today, but with patents, along with brands, along with marketplace clout, now you have a combination that companies can serve and they can make hay with that. So that's an important thing. I wanted to add that a little tip, and these are things that I've learned along the way. Literally, from the moment that you submit to a company or reach out, you're being evaluated personally. I do it all the time. It's very important to me, especially when I don't have a lot of time to make decisions or learn about the product, that I am evaluating both the person and the product. If I think the product is pretty cool and innovative and I want to take the next step in vetting it, I like to know that inventors on the other end are rational, have done their homework, and are considerate, and that getting a licensing deal done is possible. And a lot of times, most inventors are terrific and great, but sometimes you get folks that, in a variety of ways, aren't able to really describe the benefit of their product. They oftentimes, or not sometimes, but this sort of group of folks, don't listen when you give them feedback. And you can tell early on, like if I send out a non-binding term sheet to them as sort of a first stage in getting together for a potential licensing deal, it comes back in a sea of red, and you realize that it's not going to get done. And I find out that that's a waste of time for the company. So I will just say to you, when you're working with companies, to be descriptive of what you're doing. Don't dominate the conversation. It's a lot like an interview. If you read the book, What Color is My Parachute, you'll see a chapter in there about if you do 90% of the talking in an interview, you're probably not going to get hired. So these are little things that I write about in the book too. Success is not determined by social media announcements. This is my big pet peeve. These people and these companies that go out and broadcast to someone that Joe signed a licensing deal, you never hear anything more about it. I've researched many of these products and found out that none of them made it. A licensing deal is fine, but it's just like getting your patent. It doesn't define success. Success is defined by making money, and that goes well beyond a lot of this stuff. The better job you do in developing, the better job you do with your intellectual property pursuit, the better the better deal you're going to get, and the better off you're going to be when that product hits the market at some point in time. So this is all important. And then my last one's a little fun one. I remember reading in one of these marketing books that inventors should just take two ideas and combine them. And like a product, like you could take a spatula and a spoon and put them together and call it a spoon-a-la or whatever. And so for fun one day, I took one of these products because I would get a lot of them, just these combo things sent into me on a make-believe sell sheet from this particular marketing guru. And I took it just for fun. I put it in the pack of things that I was showing the president of the kitchen gadget division at Lifetime, which is the biggest kitchen gadget business in the world. And when he saw it, he goes, "What is this? It combines two things." And I said, "Well, it takes this and that." And he said, "If you ever show me one of these combo things again, I will throw you out of the building and you'll never be allowed back in again." So I just want to, the reason for these quick insider tips is you need to know a little bit more about what's going on inside the company that you're trying to do business with, than sometimes what you're told. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer that. Otherwise, Doug, we can go on to the next slide.
So I got a quick question. I think the trick in my mind is not so much perfecting the prototype, but knowing which prototype to perfect. Because I get so many ideas that I bring to the point of perfecting a prototype, and then I find out, well, I don't think anybody really wants it. How do you know what to invent?
Well, you just made a really good point, whether you know it or not. The development of it and the iterations that you're doing may lead to eventually saying this isn't worth doing. Okay. And that's one possible outcome. And is it a bad outcome? Yeah, you wasted time on it, but it's not necessarily in the bigger scheme of things. I suppose if you learn from it, the bottom line is when you bring a product to me and we're going to license it, one of the first questions I'm going to ask is, does it actually function? And if you've gone through 3 or 4 iterations and now you've figured out the trick to it, that is really, really, really valuable, highly valuable information to the company. I mean, real information is because like a Lifetime Brands has 70 people in the product development arena. I was just there today. They're all working every day on products. If you figured out a secret, you might be smarter than them, or it may be you just focused on that product or that category more than they have, so you figured it out. They will be highly impressed with what functions and will be very eager to get behind it. I just had a meeting last week where we licensed the best new functional garlic press I've ever seen by someone who probably knows more about garlic presses than anybody on the planet, or he turned into that. He flew in to meet with them. He spent 4 hours with the team. And he spent 4 hours with the team. And we went through every functional part of that, and he solves every major issue, which now means that product is 90% ready, developed and ready to almost to go to market, which is a really cool thing. And they value that, companies value that, and companies know what they're doing. They really respect that. And we're paying the high royalty rate, and everybody's happy with the process. So if you don't develop it and they get a hold of it and it doesn't function, we're done now. The discussion's not going any further, and probably have lost credibility for submitting future products. And if you haven't developed it at all, then we know it's not ready for prime time to begin with. So it's an important process to do these things right. It doesn't have to be perfect, Doug. But it just certainly doesn't have to look perfect. It just has to prove that it functions, and then it's really up to the company to take it to the next level.
I'm on a Zoom.
All right, just something's wrong here. I gotta find out who needs to be muted. Maybe
it's Gad.
Oh, all right. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody should mute themselves. Gad, I'm going to try and mute you.
I'm muted.
All
I'm muted.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
So
Sorry about that.
no worries. It's something that, quite frankly, the marketing people don't promote, is thorough product development, going to trade shows, doing your homework, because typically innovators have limited resources. Not limited, it's just you have a budget, and where do you spend your money? And quite frankly, they want you to spend, like I said, $4,000 for 6 months of coaching. They want you to spend that with them. You spend $4,000 on that, you're not going to have, money sometimes to go to trade shows or build prototypes and the other things. So it becomes a discretionary thing. Where do I put my money? And I always am a big believer in putting it into the product. And that's one of the other reasons we developed MarketBlast, to be anywhere from free to quite an expensive way to connect with the industry, so you don't have to spend all that money on the other side, so you can put your money into what's really important. So I know I rambled on there a little bit, but I'm happy to answer any other questions on this, but otherwise can go to the next slide. So this will be a quick one. There's two sides to Marketplace, as I started to say before. A lot of money's gone into this platform. It's a pretty sophisticated from behind the scenes platform. And there are companies and submitters, as I said, what we call receivers and submitters. The two sides of the platform, although we are unique in the corporate world, we certainly have inventors on the other side. So maybe we could flip on to the next one, Doug. So on the company side, it could be traditional manufacturing companies, could be wholesalers, retailers, all types of folks. And these are companies that are really, looking for new products, and maybe they have an internal process to develop new products, but they also need to sort of feed the beast. I'll give you a perfect example of a company we just signed up last week, Cuisinart. Cuisinart manufactures small electrics, food processors, and so forth, but also kitchen gadgets and cutlery. They just came on the platform to search for new products. They also have a sister company called Conair that's looking at the platform right now, but they bring out hundreds of new products a year, and so this is really a bit helpful thing for them. Marketplace appeals to these companies because is there someone on mute there?
Someone needs to be muted, I think.
It's the Marketplace platform is really easy for them to use. The innovator, which I'll talk about in a minute, can upload their information, but when they reach out to a company and submit it, I get these every day. I can quickly look at it. If there's sell sheets, there's a place for video, intellectual property background, and all types of basic essentials that allow me to go through and make a pretty quick decision on whether we want to move forward. So it saves a lot of time and energy for them. So if I can go on to the next slide, Doug, I'll just keep going here. Submitters, on the submitter side, and I'll come back to the process. It could be inventors, but it also could be makers, product developers, designers, startups, LLCs, all types of people. Some people have already manufactured products, some people haven't. Some people are just in licensing, others in distribution, and it is worldwide. So what we do is we allow people on the platform, and we have about 6,000 people using the platform right now, and about 100 companies. We enable them to come on the platform, see the companies that are looking for products, read a little bit more about them, and investigate. And what we do is we do regular hunts where we go out in the marketplace through PR, trade shows, trade industries, and social media, and get the word out. The companies that are using our platform are looking for new products, and this sort of drives leads that come in. And then we go out to a lot of the traditional inventor places where inventors look for this type of information and get it out there. We do have a new premium platform, which I'll describe in a moment, but it is free to upload for inventors and innovators, submitters to upload their information onto the platform. And then it's $10 to submit to a company, and that's it. There's no arrangement. If you go ahead and do a licensing deal with a company, there's never any back end to this. You actually get the first 3 submissions for free. And basically, it's a very, very inexpensive way to find companies and get your product in front of them. All right.
Now, I got a question for you there.
Yeah.
Do you need a provisional patent at the least before you start to submit some sort of a PPA? Because otherwise, your idea would be easily duplicated, right?
We definitely suggest that. We have a matrix that the companies use that has about 36 different permutations on it, where they select what's required in order for them to receive a submission, and almost without fail, at least a provisional patent application is part of that. I can't think of any that don't use that. Some of them want to see, know that you have a developed prototype. Some want to see a video. The companies use the same criteria or go by the same that they would use normally if you reach out to them directly. So yes, you want to, if you're sharing anything of any import, you want it to be protected. This platform is really for people that are not just, new sort of idea thinkers that are often taken advantage of by marketers. It better serves people that are a little bit up the food chain and understand the development process, and then by and large submit much better product submissions to companies at the end of the day. So we have the companies and the receivers, we have the submitters. I'll take you through the next couple of slides of what it looks like when you go on the platform. And then I'll answer any questions for everybody. I'll stay here as long as you want. It's good that we start at 5. That way I can get to bed by midnight. But the next slide. So we have this open hunts platform where we reach out to the innovator community and we let them know that like a Cuisinart's doing a hunt. We drive people. You can also come on the site and you can look through all the companies. It's actually a pretty cool exercise just to go on marketblast.com and see all the companies. They're varied. They're in a bunch of different arenas. We have housewares, of course, but we have toys. We have games. We have exercise equipment. We have medical products, and we are expanding that. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. You can set up your own page that has your information for unlimited number of products. What's cool is that then you submit when you're ready to a company. You have a way of then tracking. Everything is tracked. You know when they receive it. You know when they respond to you. The company keeps that information too, so there's a history of it, so people can see. It's a pretty cool platform the way it works. And as I said, it's basically $10 a submission. The first 3 are free, but it's $10 a submission. And if you could go to the next one, I'll keep running through sort of how it works. Sorry to make you do this, Doug.
No worries.
Thank you. So this is what it looks like if you go onto the Marketplace site. And by the way, let me just say, it's completely free to join Marketplace. Go on the site, and you can get alerts when companies are looking for products. You can get newsletters and other information and stuff. So just signing up to Marketplace is a no-brainer. Nobody's asking you to do anything or tracking you, but you can stay in touch, and you never know when something might come through that catches your interest. But when you go on to the website, this is what it looks like, and you can click on an individual company and you can read about them. There's a description of what they're all about, what the company specializes in, and what they're looking for, what their criteria for submissions are, so you can determine whether you're ready for that or not. And you can make a decision on whether or not you want to submit to that particular company. And you can, it's fun rifling through and just, I do it sometimes just to look at some of the new companies coming on and what they're all about. We have things like Dorman Products. They're a $3 billion automotive afterparts company, for instance. So if you have an automotive product, it's really a cool thing. There's a lot of really cool, products. Valerie asked what product categories. It's all across the board. We every day, we have about 100 companies on the platform now. We expect to have about 150 by the end of the year. Now, when I say on the platform, these are companies that are actually using our platform. They've been set up. We set them up. We've integrated with them. And when they get a product that comes through here, they're using our system. I'm going to go and talk a little bit about things that we're doing beyond that. We're certainly trying to expand that number. But getting these folks signed up is not the easiest thing in the world, but we go to trade shows, we do reach outs, we do all types of things to get these companies on board. So you'll find it's a pretty varied array of products across many categories. categories. And the broader, the better for us. Next slide, Doug. Thank you.
Yeah, I got a question here in the chat. It says, what product categories are involved in these notifications?
Yeah, that's from Valerie. That's what I was just answering. So
that you answered that. Okay.
yeah, so it's a wide variety, as many as we can get, and we're trying to expand on it. But if you go on, you're going to see it's all types of things from, toys and exercise equipment and housewares, and there's even scuba diving equipment to all types of interesting things as you go on. And we're only going to get broader with that. So if we could go to the next slide, because it all kind of ties together. Okay, so this is from the other side. This is what it looks like for me as an open innovation director when I sign up or my company signs up for it. And this is what I see. So when one of you submits a product, I get an alert that a new product has just come through. I go to the website and it's perfectly lined up for me. It's so easy. I click on the product. Suddenly I see a description of it. I see a picture of it. I click on a video. There's a sell sheet. There's IP information. Everything's in front of me. And it is a godsend, because you'd be surprised how I receive product submissions. Some people call, they leave messages. Some people text.
Basically, computer system where you submit your products to this system and then he markets it to.
Sorry about that. I got to mute people.
Okay, so I get submissions by land and by sea, in every possible way, and there's no record of them. And then I oftentimes go back and forth multiple times with people to get more information, and it just is a big fat hassle a lot of times. And then once I make a decision or need more information, it's just this system is incredibly easy. I can immediately, if it's not a product for us, I can immediately reject it, and you get almost immediately rejection notice. And I know people don't like to get rejection notice. It's quite nice, but it's frustrating. But a lot of times the product is not right for the company at all. And my next book is going to be called "No is the Second Best Answer." So at least you can move on to other places, because a lot of times companies don't even get back to you. They never even respond. So this makes that very easy. We are working on the ability at some point in time, we're probably a few months away from it, where they could actually check a box and then tell you why they were, like 8 or 10 reasons why they were rejecting it, whether it might be because it's been done before, or it hasn't been successful, or they have another product just like it, or there's not enough consumer demand for it, all types of reasons why companies reject. Let's face it, companies reject things all the time. You're trying to speed up the process that we talked about a little bit, Doug, earlier in the pre-meeting, of finding out what's going to make it, down the road, and getting whatever inside information that you can build on. And this helps that process. Let them know if I need more information, if I need a sample and other things. It allows me to communicate with the company behind the scenes so that we can communicate on things, and it keeps a record of everything that we're doing. So the platform is really, really good for companies to use, and it's easy for submitters, and it's easy for us to review these submissions. I'll just keep going because the next couple of slides are kind of in the same vein. So the next slide, if we could. So you're starting to get the feel for this. Again, you can go on marketblast.com and see it from the submitter side. We have just started something new, which is a membership platform. And we are playing with that right now. Initially, for the last couple of months, it was like $40 a month to be a member. And for that, you got free submissions. But more importantly than that, we then spent a great deal of time and effort and money on developing a list of 20,000 companies that span every industry, consumer goods industry you can think of, and beyond. That is accessible for members to go in and research companies in their field using keywords. So for instance, if you invented, you know, a new dog bowl that automatically feeds your dog when you're not around, you could go in and put in pet companies, and you might see 250 pet companies show up, and then you could put in dog bowls or other keywords, and it might cut that down to 15 companies, 10 or 15 companies. And then you can easily navigate through them to see their websites, you know, contact folks, and then find out more about, you know, their process for submissions. Now, not all of them practice open innovation. So we, at some point in time, are going to also, you know, be able to do a check system, like a star system for innovators, so that they can rate the company's performance, and we can share that with others. However, that aside, we want to make sure that people know all the companies that are out there, and they can do it from the comfort of their desk without going to trade shows. And it helps you to zoom in on the ones that and consolidate your efforts. And this list is massive, and we're adding to it all the time, actually, which is kind of cool. So that's, besides the free submissions, the membership platform allows you access to this database. And if you tune in later in the week, we have now expanded the program pricing wise to not only be $40 a month and commit for a year, but we have a 1 month and a 3 month program. We have you could come on for 1 month and test it for $59.99. And then we have a 3 months for $49.99. So you don't have to commit long-term to it if you just are researching a project now and maybe, you know, aren't developing other products. So, and if you do those things and want to convert into long-term, you do. So we are trying to make this as palatable and as easy and inexpensive as possible. At the same time, it's fairly expensive to put the whole thing together. We put a lot of money into this. So there is a cost, but it's pretty minimal. And then we are now also in the midst of a third hybrid effort, which is in between the actually companies using our platform, which, remember, I said we have about 100 companies and we plan to have about 150 by the end of the year. In between that and the 20,000 company plus database, which will be companies that have established open innovation programs but may not be using our platform. We want to market to them to use our platform, but in the meanwhile, we are going to share all that information with our members, and they will include companies. We will start in the next month with about 300 companies that we know take submissions, and we will grow that out probably to over 500 by the end of the year. So beyond the ones that use our platforms, these will be people that you can reach out to directly. There's no cost, you know, on that to reach out to them directly. You're not using our platform. So it's, again, another resource to give you venues so that you can help you in your search for who might be the right partner for you. You know, at the end of the day, our marketing effort to companies is to take those 20,000 companies and market to them continually to get them more interested in open innovation, and then eventually get them on our platform. Whether they do or not, we can't set the timetable or speed. They're a lot bigger than us at the end of the day, but we want to make all that we've learned in these resources. I would expect by next year, this time next year, we'll have 500 companies using the platform. We'll probably have over 3,000 companies in the hybrid space, and we'll probably have 40,000 companies in the database. So it's a lot of information, but it'll be navigable, and that's our whole pitch. So this is what we're trying to do. This is the core of our business. We're not inventor coaches per se, although that brings me to the next thing that you get with the membership. Every month I'm doing webinars, similar, Doug, to maybe a presentation to, to Inventor Club and so forth, but they will be on specific topics. And they'll be on everything from, licensing agreements and what they look like and percentages and royalties to 30 steps to market. I just gave that one the other day. If you're going direct, to what's going on in Washington, D.C. and how to protect yourself, and all types of cool, information that is elsewhere non-existent. And so all these things together, we think have a value, but no matter what, and going onto the platform and signing up is completely free, and you can make all your other decisions based upon what's right for you and your own needs. And at least you'll get updates and alerts on all this if you're a member that you otherwise wouldn't be aware of. So this is what we're trying to build out, and it takes a little bit of time, and we've learned a lot. And I've had 9 businesses, and I forgot, what's like to start a business from scratch. But here we are back again doing it. But I think it's going to leave a lasting legacy in the open innovation space, and which is really why I'm involved in it. So that's the membership platform. If we can go to the next slide again, ask questions, fire away if you'd like. But
yeah, I got a question for you there.
Sure.
Warren. So who owns Market Blast? Is that your company?
It's I am a partner in it, but I don't own it. The main owner is Russell Wilson. Russ is a longtime friend of mine. He serves on the United Inventors Association Board of Directors. And we met, 15 years ago. And Russ had started a company called Invention Home. They're a more of an invention marketing company. Actually, they're a little bit unique if you're not familiar with them. I think they're unique in that they have a lot of different services that help inventors to get their products in front of companies, but they are also in the product development arena. I have absolutely zero to do with Invention Home, and Russ has other partners in that. He and I have been talking about open innovation for the last many years, and have gotten serious over the last couple of years. He wants to move on from Invention Home and get into this space. This is a space that I have a lot of, probably more expertise than anyone in America, and so that's why that's why I came on board. But I did not. A lot of capital's been raised, and Russ is really responsible for that. He's an MBA guy, and really smart guy. I'm involved because I believe in the mission, and I'm trying to be helpful to it. But I still run my open innovation program for Lifetime Brands, and I still do all my nonprofit things. So this is a portion of what I'm doing, although I'm quite dedicated to its success. But Russ is the primary owner of Market Blast. And
my follow-up question is, how was this developed? Did you write all of this in Python or something, or
Russ did it all. Russ is I'm not sure if I call him a computer genius, but he's a more traditional businessman, MBA, tech guy who collaborated on the whole system and used a variety of people or companies, which I'm not really involved in. I kind of stay out of all of the stuff under the hood. It's really not my interest, but it does function really well. I am singularly, Doug, on the mission of getting more companies to take outside product submissions, and I think I'm eminently qualified as someone who spent a long time learning my lessons on the inside. And of course, I use that to write my book, Inventor Confidential. So we're kind of matched up as a team of being sort of yin and yang. But Doug was the guy Russ was the guy that puts all the technical things together. He's the one that did the whole database of 20,000 companies, which took like 4 or 5 months to do and 6 figures to put together. He's really good at all that stuff. So that's his that's his bailiwick.
And did you do this because you wanted to automate your self out of a job or something?
Well, I'm 68 years old, Doug. So I don't really, I don't say it in any boastful way because I don't mean it that way, but I don't necessarily, I've sort of had my run in a lot of things. This is a lot of this stuff that I do and a lot of charitable stuff I do is a labor of love. I believe in it. So you might ask, well, why? Well, because I've had many of my own businesses. I believe in the entrepreneurial spirit in America. I've had a lot of success. I've had many hit products. And I'm very thankful for my good fortune in this business. But I also tell you, I had a product that I lost almost all my money in, put my family and house at risk. So I know the inventor experience, and I was fortunate to recover from it. And so you add all those things together, and this is my mission. I spend a ridiculous amount of time in Washington, D.C., walking the halls of Congress with the U.S. inventor folks and at Capitol and at the Patent Office, preaching what's important for inventors. So Market Blast is another portion of my overall mission of getting inventors access to the marketplace through others, in this case, primarily licensing. And if you read my book, you'll see how passionate I am about it. And I live and breathe this stuff. And to me, it's not a job. And but this is my last run, and I've always wanted to come back to this. I've always wanted to do it. I was unable on my own, Doug, to figure out how to grow this thing from my individual companies to more of a platform. And I found Russ was the perfect partner who believed in what I did. And now we have to see if it works. Like any entrepreneurial effort, we're trying really hard, and I think we made some progress, but we'll see we'll see. I mean, we're not going ahead with it. We have plenty of funds to keep it going and keep doing it. So it's not going to stop what we've done. But the question is, can we get it out to the type of numbers that I described before? Because if we're ever going to be profitable, quite frankly, my end game down the road is to come back and do more consulting and advising of companies, because quite frankly, they're the ones with the money, and I don't take money from inventors. So I that's my mission, is to be connected with more companies that we can then go in and do really cool consulting things for the companies at the end of the day. But you can see from our model, there's not a lot of dollars. We're not charging thousands of dollars for this. Our money mostly is that we're charging is to keep the platform going, and to continue to have resources and money to invest in growing it out in the way that I described. So you may think, well, that's an interesting business model, and it is. We want to be ubiquitous someday. I'm doing stuff in the pro bono arena with it. I'm doing stuff with Home Depot with it. We're doing stuff with all types of interesting stuff around the country with it. When it becomes ubiquitous, then the platform will have real value. But to be honest with you, it's a labor of love right now, and I hope we get to that level. But I think we're going to offer something to the innovator and the business community that's very valuable, regardless. And that's why I'm in it at my age.
And I just want to comment. This is Mark Roser commenting, and just number one, just to validate Warren. I've worked with him in the past. I've submitted an awesome cutting board idea that he brought forward for review to Lifetime Brands. It got a thorough and honest appraisal. It didn't get licensed, but I appreciated the clarity and the honesty and upfrontness. So I can definitely vouch for the way that he treats people. I was just curious, Warren, can you comment on the way in which other people that are using the site, if they are upholding the same level of quality of treating people that we've come to expect through what you've done at Lifetime Brands? Yeah,
that's a really good question, Mark. I can't say that everyone's gonna. I'm an unusual at Lifetime Brands. I'm an outside contractor dedicated to this and believe in the process, and so I probably go the extra mile all the time. Some companies do have dedicated people, and those companies will be prompt to get back to you. I was really encouraged, for instance, in Cuisinart when we signed them up, all the people that were dedicated in house. And other companies either have someone in sales or legal or marketing, and they're not quite as good. We do monitor things at Marketplace, so if they're not getting back to you, that we give them gentle reminders to get back to people. The answer to the question is a really good question. Is I can pretty much assure you won't get the level of Lifetime Brands only because it's me. But having said that, the whole system is meant to be easy to use, and at least you get indication from them, and then you have the chance to to work internally to follow up, and it makes it very easy for them to respond. So we want to keep going in that direction where we make it better, and we want there to be at least a minimum standard. If they get back to you in a reasonable amount of time, if they don't want it, they let you know that. Right now, when they let you know that, you're not always going to find out why. A lot of times people, when they find that out, they will go around. Like I rejected something recently at Lifetime Brands, and some of them reached out to me directly. Why? And it gave me the chance to respond to them. So we'll continue to try to get better at that. But that's it. That doesn't negate the value of the platform, and at least taking that step. At the end of the day, we're like a dating platform. Although, Mark, I haven't dated in 42 years. No, make that 45 years, because I've been married 42 years. But my daughters tell me you can swipe right, you can swipe left, and all that. This is one of those platforms where we're trying to bring two parties together, and it's kind of you swipe right, swipe left, and that's kind of the basis for it. So once we get that down, I think there's other things we can build off the platform, but we really got to get the base going. But that was a really good question.
Good.
Maybe you should call it Product Harmony.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of good names we can come up with, Doug. But anyway, it's we're learning a lot as we go, and but each month we're doing new things. But right now it's becoming, it's easy to sign up. It's the premium platform is really not expensive, and it's pretty palatable, and we think it's and we're going to get better. So this last one is the schedule of podcasts that I'm doing each month, and the dates. I can't even read it because it's so small, but I just gave the one the other night on 30 major steps. But you'll see, like, oh geez, I guess I gotta give the September one in October. You'll see like the topic, insider legal terms, and other minutia within licensing agreements. I'll spend an hour and a half with people on what really happens in a licensing agreement behind the scenes when you get serious. And I've been through this, hundreds of times, and so I know the questions that are asked. And as I said before, we talk about other subjects during the year. I also do at large open. These are for just membership platform podcasts. I also do podcasts once a month in general for Market Blast, just generic ones to tell about what I'm telling tonight to the program, and they've been pretty well attended with. We had like 150 people for the first one, and I might start to mix that up and bring guests in. So keep an eye out. I'm going to try to continue to do more things, but my mission here is to spread the word in as many ways as possible, and try to get our platform to be ubiquitous, which is our company mission. I had to look up ubiquitous when I first heard it, because I hadn't heard it for about 30 years, but we want to be everywhere, basically, is what we're trying to accomplish. So.
Question?
Yes.
Hi, Warren. Thank you for your presentation. So, Warren, if I go to the site and I look at all those companies, is it safe to say if I don't see anything that's in my space,
yeah,
probably would not be interested in what I'm doing?
If you don't, I would say that if you're working on a specific project and you go through all those companies and none of them appeal to you, that we don't have a company in your arena. You can always write in to the Marketplace people and ask them if they're finding them, because they search and add more companies. What may or may not be of value to you is the premium platform. That's kind of why we developed that, since we weren't adding companies as quickly enough. And that has the database that you can research, and that's going to start with 300 companies very shortly. They will go on and we'll expand off that. If you find a value in that, and again, we are trying to change the Market Blast sign up premium program from one where you have to commit to a year, where you either have an option to go on for a month and research it, or 3 months. So the first thing though is to sign up for Market Blast, just be on the platform. There's really no downside to that, but then we can alert you on some of these other packages. And if you, for instance, wanted to sign up for 1 month at $59.99, you would have access to all that stuff that you could research, these new companies that are coming on. And I'd be surprised if you can't find a company at that point, that or few actually, that would be in your space. But that's the idea.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Good question.
Are there any other questions? Well,
So I
then here.
talked-
Oh, wait, is there a question?
No, I said I'm talking so much. I guess I answered everybody's question.
I guess so. I want to hope you'll all join me in thanking the speaker. Thank you, Warren. That was great.
My
What
pleasure.
we'll do is we're going to upload this presentation to Zoom. And the next speaker, Kathleen Rondo, if you're still here, is going to be visiting and speaking for us on the 31st of October. And she is an expert at doing games. I think she might have signed out. So in any case, thanks very much for your attending, and I hope you guys have a good rest of the evening. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Doug.
Okay.
Appreciate everybody.
Doug,
Thank you.
I was here, Doug.
Oh, you're here. Okay, great.
Yeah, and I was,
You
I-
can say a
something was
word or
muted.
two about what it is you're going to talk about. People are starting to sign off, though.
yeah, well, this presentation gave me a really good idea of what might be interesting to folks. I think it's the whole process. How the creative process, how that's generated in terms of building not just a product, but a line of products, number one. Number two, how do you deal with the companies? Number three, do you need the legal that is often foisted on you? Copyright's cheap, you do it yourself. Anyhow, and that, and just talk about product. Yeah, I
Very
think
good.
probably more weird things that have happened in the toy and game industry. Weird
Terrific.
and funny.
Well, thanks very much, everyone. And Warren, thanks again. Great presentation. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye, Doug.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.